how could the incidence of cancer or heart disease or depression go so high? Numbing. That's the major thing that happens when the brain and the body get disconnected. Danger, danger. And when you're numb, you don't have the ability. You are not connected to your body to make healthier changes. And so when we re-engage that ticket out of hell, that PFC, it starts to give us new foundation and new abilities that previously may have not existed. So the new understanding is that the stress and trauma accumulates. That's called the allostatic load. Allostatic load is the amount of stress that accumulates over a lifetime. At Unified Therapy, we have developed ways to dump the allostatic load, and when you do that, it has sort of a systemic effect. It can affect many what we call comorbid conditions. For instance, somebody may suffer with anxiety, digestive disorders, they may be having mood shifts, back pains, chronic pains, etc. When you shift the load, there seems to be a big change across the board. Whether in relationships, it's a used thing. It's like we cannot have a deep and fulfilling relationship if we're being controlled by triggers from stress and trauma of our past, no matter how much we try. It is not saying that in traditional mental health there have just been some wonderful breakthroughs that have understood that and working on a different level rather than just basically as talk therapy. Because talk therapy, you try to control unwanted feelings and emotions, and we're saying now we want to go in and actually feel the energetic states inside the body and release them as sort of processed, fragmented pieces of trauma. And when that happens, typically the person will go through temperature changes, altered sensations, trembling or shaking, or laughing or crying, but they can be all explained when we really go into understanding the brain. And as a person understands that, it makes it easier and easier. But now it has become so common that people allow themselves to go through that, and they come out saying, oh my gosh, the pain that I had suffered with for so long is released. And at the same time, it was so hard for me to believe that, but I was holding on to a feeling, an emotion, something about my father, something about my mother, and somehow the brain interact with all that. Now, when we look a scan of a person's brain, chronic pain is the #1 condition in all of medicine. We're talking 15 to 20% of the people. Chronic pain is that pain that persists usually after 2 or 3 months and doesn't seem to go away. It is the most common complaint in all of medicine, and the vast majority goes unexplained. But if we do a functional MRI of the brain, you know what areas light up with the pain center? It's the areas often with emotion and memory and our ability to focus. And we're like, well, what does emotion and memory have to do with pain? Well, now we know. When you look at the ACE study, it begins to show us how you process pain in your life has a lot to do with your previous exposure. So the key about it, when I'm talking about the yoga experience, when I'm talking about any of these experiences, that we are developing as human beings. We are still a work in progress. And these new skills have to be attained if we are even going to survive as a people, because we know today that our current level of chronic illness is rising. We have childhood diabetes, adult onset, meaning that it should be in adults. Now it's affecting children. And we know at those current levels, it's going to destroy us. But we know obesity, again, is directly related to some early exposure of stress or trauma. And that early and then complicated later on. And what happens is when you have that stress or trauma, your choices are affected. So people don't make healthy choices. The same with chronic pain. There's a famous test that is done. It's called the Iowa Gambling Task. In the Iowa Gambling Task, you have 5 decks of cards, and in those decks of cards, you have winners and losers, and it's typical. Scientists have to be empirical, and so if you turn over winner, you get money. If you turn over loser, you take it away. But what happens is the average person, after 40 or 50 tries, knows that the decks are loaded and says, hey, give me one from that. But people in chronic pain, people with depression, etc., don't ever recognize that the game is loaded, which again leads us back to not making healthier choices. Everybody that's obese and overweight knows, okay, you should be eating more fresh fruits and vegetables. You should be eating less fats. They all know that. But they don't lack the power to override this control center, the emotional center, the stress center, the limbic system. And once you give them that power, then they make healthy choices, because that's why most diets fail. That's why most people stay in pain cycles. That's why in Dade County, where I live, anxiety and panic attacks are epidemic. Now, anxiety and panic attacks are almost 100% treatable if you do the right thing and prevent it from ever coming back again. But unfortunately, people are sort of disabled. They're made actually weaker because then they start to get on benzodiazepines, various things like Xanax, etc., which are treating symptoms, but they don't realize that the anxiety is just a residue of stress. It's part of the fight or flight survival mechanism that's been trapped in there. And once it gets trapped in there, it could go into digestion, it could go into your back, it could go into your neck, it could go up in many different forms of disease.
So that's another little flavor of Dr. Kimali. Was it clear? Did it make more sense what he was talking about than maybe in this morning, or maybe it was clear in the morning too? But we just felt to add that piece of it. And so now I'm going to turn everything over to Judy, and I'll put up whatever. I'll go back to the slide.
Okay. All right. So did everyone have a nice lunch? Did you breathe? Huh? Did anybody practice breathing a little deeper? Come on. Let's see. Show your hands. Come on. You know, the thing about after lunch is really hard because you've got all that food sitting in your stomach, and so we want to wake up for the afternoon. So I want to just see you raise your hand just for the heck of it. Okay? Raise the other one. All right. Shake your booty in the chair. Put your feet to the floor. Tap the floor. Okay, keep shaking. Let's wake up. Well, good for you. Sharon walked up 6 flights of stairs, so she did it for all of us. Okay, great. So we're going to jump into an experience, and when you came back, is this too loud? Do I need to move this over? Okay. You found a blank piece of paper on your chair, and if you didn't find it, find one. Okay? And hold it up when you've got your blank piece of paper. Okay, we're going back to kindergarten. We're going to draw. You're going to draw yourself. You're going to have 2 minutes, 3 minutes to draw yourself, okay? Okay. You need a pen or a pencil? Okay. So on your mark, get set, go. Draw yourself. I love looking at your faces as you're drawing yourself.
Some people laughing more than others.
And one thing we'll remember, that one of the very most difficult things when we were in kindergarten, when other people looked at our drawings and might have commented, so we're not going to do that yet.
Too late.
Okay, you only got about 30 more seconds. Remember, there are no mistakes. And when you have your drawing done, just wave it like a flag for a second, or your arm. Perfect. Great. Those of you who haven't started yet, get going. 30 more seconds. Okay, let's go. 30 more seconds. Okay, let's have a quiet. Quiet. Okay, 10 seconds. Finish up. Stop, stop, stop. Okay. Let's see your drawing. Just hold it up. Everybody. Great. Okay, put it down. Okay. First question. When I said to you, you're going to draw yourself, who kind of went into a little bit of fear about not being able to do it? Who was like, yes, I want to do it? Yeah, okay, we've got a couple of you who are born creators. The truth is that we're all creative. And somewhere along the line, do you remember when you were in kindergarten? Yeah, I'm going to wait till everybody's quiet. Okay, good. So just remember, when you were in kindergarten, you were probably a fearless creator. Am I right? When somebody said paint, you said, oh, yes. So somewhere along the line in our, growing up, we forgot that we were creative. Or somebody might say, oh, that's not the way a tree should look. Oh, that's not the way you should look. That's not the way. That's not the right color. So we start believing things about ourselves that aren't true, but we take those burdens on. And we start covering up the creative being that we are. Can anyone relate to that? Yeah? I think we've all had that. Whether it be art or math. Maybe it's in our family line. You will never be able to do math. You're always going to struggle. So we begin to take these beliefs on. And that begins to shove down the creator, that one who was in kindergarten and loved to play in the mud, loved to get into it, and didn't care what they looked like. We had to be acceptable. So we gave up our creator. But the truth is that every moment we're a creator. When you get out of bed in the morning, you're deciding how your day is going to go. Right? So if you get out of bed on the wrong side of the bed, how's your day going to go? Yeah, pretty bad, huh? So one of the things that I've learned in working with people is that we have to trick ourselves to kind of see our worldview, because we can talk all day about our negative stuff. And we see this in the news. The news is all negative, right? That's what sells. So somehow we buy off on that in our internal dialogue, and we have this negative self-view. And that begins to suppress our immune system and that kind of thing. So the thoughts, have you ever heard this phrase, thoughts are things, right? Thoughts are things. So where you put your attention is what you're going to manifest in your life. Someone mentioned earlier at the break, law of attraction. So what you're believing about yourself as not a creator, not very smart, don't have enough courage, and you want more of that, but you don't know how to get there, you're suppressing, more suppressing. So one of the things about meditation that we learned this morning is that it helps release and get some of that stuff out of the way. You can just be in the moment, and right now, just in this moment, is everything okay? Right now, for you in this room, is everything okay? Are you feeling pretty good? Maybe all the aches and pains aren't there. Maybe you have a little bit. But in this moment, the past is back there somewhere. The future is out there. You're just in this moment. Is that a good thing? Yeah. Because we get to let the world go and we get to just be present. So our thoughts then are relaxed in this moment and we're okay. Wow. So that's kind of the meditation, isn't it? Just being present. So then we take it a little bit deeper with, what do I believe about myself? So what I invite you to do at this moment, find your partner, get with your partner, and just, we're going to do a little share. So there's going to be an A partner and a B partner. And the A partner is going to talk first and tell what they notice about their drawing. Let's try to keep it positive, folks. All right, because you'll have another chance later. Then, that's going to be 2 minutes, maybe a minute and a half of sharing partner A. Partner B makes no comment. What did I say, partner B?
Makes no comment.
No comment. This is your partner A's time to talk about themselves. Talk about what they notice. Don't laugh. In fact, just try to have no emotion whatsoever about it. Just listen. You know, that's difficult because we're, you know, we want to be supportive. Oh, yay for you. But just hold that space that they get to talk about. Then we switch. Partner B gets to talk. Partner A, what do? You're quiet. And so this is a sacred time for you to be able to dialogue about yourself. Now, if feelings arise, let them. Partner A who's sharing first and partner B when you're sharing. If you have feelings that come up, because when you have the awareness and that feeling, that's the place you can shift when you have that awareness. Wow, I didn't realize that's how that was coming up for me. So, get your two people together. Yes. Yes, you're talking about yourself and your drawing.
Your drawing.
Your drawing. Only your drawing. Okay. And I'll tell you when to switch. Okay, switch partners. B, talk about yourself. A, be the listener.
Well, I was never that much in my life. I couldn't even draw so much. I just decided to take a chance. It's always easier to draw a stick figure. Smile right there with a little pat on the top. I think I'm mistaken for a paper. Attitude that take over and present the right attitude I have going forward. Make the best out of my life as possible.
Finish up. A few more minutes.
My sister's the artist, though. I'm not good to draw circles right all. Well, that's too bad she's not here
Okay. Stop. Did you get to yours? Did you get yours? Is everybody ready? Ooh, wasn't that fun? Okay. Woo, give yourselves a hand. Welcome to kindergarten. Our education begins here, right? So, How was that? Do we have someone who absolutely is dying to share? Or living to share? Come on, Riz. Okay. Yvonne, come up.
Oh, mine or hers?
Yours. We're only sharing our own. Because nobody else gets to think about you except in your terms. How about that? Okay, sure. Yeah.
This is me. Here.
Here, oh, sorry. Falling down on the job.
Fat, strong, happy, lost. Energy.
And, oh, here, I've got one now. How did you feel? What was your sense as you were drawing yourself?
I don't know, I just started doing it. I don't know. I can't draw myself, so I just picture my face and picture myself as close as I could do it.
Yeah. Did you have positive thoughts, negative thoughts? What was
I have positive and negative.
And you're feeling the same?
Yeah, what I written down here.
Uh-huh.
Happy and I got energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's positive. Fat is negative. Loss is negative.
Okay.
So I think it's like an even.
Hey, you're 50-50. Good for you. Let's give Yvonne a hand. Thank you for sharing. All right. Who else is living to share? Come on, people, risk. Because you know when you stand up and you're honored by the whole, okay, Carmen, thank you. Because when one shares, they're sharing for all of us, right? Could you relate to what Yvonne had to say in hers? Yeah, great. Thank you. All right, Carmen, let me turn you on here. Oh!
But anyhow, when you asked to draw, immediately brought memories about my childhood when I had a sister who loved drawing. So she always would say, oh, don't you do your drawing, I'll do it for you. So I feel that I was not able to develop that part of me. But I said, anyhow, so you're going to hear kind of like a little girl there because I think that's how I associate that. And then I put a smile. Because I consider myself half of the glass full person. Hard because I usually love everybody who comes to my life no matter what, until they disappoint me, I might change my mind. And then I put a little bit of floor because I feel like I'm grounded. You know, I have to have my feet on the ground. I don't like the swings, I don't like the roller coaster rides, so you won't see me in Disney at all. That's it.
Thank you, Carmen. You're, I think, when it gets in your read. Thank you. Let's give her a hand. So I'm going to go look at my notes so I don't forget anything here. So when we say that thoughts are things, now when Yvonne talks about her happiness, those are happy words. Those are happy that actually helps lift her up. And when you start thinking about those other things, which I won't say, but you can if you want, because I'm not going to say that about you. Yeah, I'm not going to say that about you. And actually, you know what? Would you risk with me and come up again? Have any of you worked with someone who does muscle testing kinesiology? It's kinesiology, yeah. Okay, so the body never lies. And sometimes we speak something out here, but the body never lies about how we feel about ourselves. Well, she's been pretty honest, right? But would you like to see the effect? Can we do this with you? She's such a good risker. All right, we're going to take you to a new level with this. Now, the law of attraction has to do with this, but this also has the law of attraction of how you feel about yourself. So, may I? So, she's fully clothed. Do you mind if may I comment? Okay. Okay. So she's fully clothed, and she has her words here. No, that's for you, honey. All right. So she's pretty well dressed. She's pretty outfitted here. her feet, and she. But what I'm concerned about are her words and how they affect her and her health and her view of herself. Are you guys want to see this? And we'll do this. All right. So in muscle testing, what we do is that we test for a strong muscle or a weak muscle. So I'm going to do a base test with her, and what I'm going to have you do is just put your arm up like this, okay? And I'm just going to support her here, and I'm going to push down, and she's going to resist up, okay? And this is a basic muscle test. And I'm going to move this a little bit forward. You stay forward. I'm going to move it into your, because she's going to be a stronger, and I want her to be strong. So I'm actually going to lift it a little higher, okay? Now be strong, and let's just do a base test. I'm going to push. Okay, she is really strong, all right? You're really strong. Okay, now the next test I'm going to do is for strength and for weakness. Now we did the strength. Now I'm going to test for weakness. So, take one of those words that you have right there. Which one do you want to pick?
Back.
Okay. So we know you're, let's try that strong one again. Okay, resist me. Resist. Okay, relax down. Okay, breathe. Now, close your eyes and think about that word. F-A-T. And when you feel that, just sense it and feel it in your body and that belief about yourself. And when you get it, like full on breathing it, and you got it, let me know. You got it. Okay. Now, resist. So it goes weak. Do you feel that? Okay. Just say the word. No, don't say it. Just
Say
feel
the
it.
word.
Yeah, I mean, she's not even able to keep her, do you see that? It just keeps sagging. Right? Okay, resist. See, now, and that's as hard as I was pressing when she was feeling, with her strength test. So her body never lies. So this is hitting, in acupuncture, there are 3 energy lines here and 3 here. It doesn't really matter for what we're doing here. But what that does is it's triggering one of the energy lines in your body. So do you want to know how to, well, there's lots of ways to release it, but simple meditation, breathing, and then also changing that thought. So, are you ready to play with me a little bit more? So let's hold a vision of yourself being thin and that you're beautiful. Thin in just the way you are, not changing anything, okay? And just embody that. Your strength, you have courage, you have, like the lion, she has courage, she's smart, she's intelligent, she's creative, whatever that is for you. Okay, tell me when you just got it. You really get it? Okay. All right, let's test again. I am pressing even harder with that. So what that does is it shifts your energy. So the idea here, does anyone know what the idea is here? Can anyone tell me?
Think positive.
Yeah. Change those beliefs about yourself, that you're fat, that you're lost. What if you're found? Let's look at that one. Okay, feel lost. Okay, that one's too easy. Okay.
Can't think about it.
Okay, you can't. That's great. Let me test that. She can't even think about it. Let's test that. See, that positive thought even counteracted her feeling of loss. So you can practice this. Now, when you do this, you can do this at home with people. You always ask permission about this. This is, getting permission from you. I would never do this without your permission. But you can do this, and when you do a base test, you want to support them here. Let's turn sideways. and I can also support her here. And you don't want to wrench this arm and put the shoulder out, but you just, okay, resist, and you press. And that's a base test. Okay, so this is something, if you're wondering, you can even have someone work with you to change those beliefs. So instead of saying, I am fat, what would you say instead? Come on, shout it out here. Shout it out here.
I am beautiful.
Yeah, Sharon.
I understand what you're doing as far as changing the negative into the positive. The only thing in my personal situation, and with genetics again, is there's a history of heart attacks in my family, is that I'm 58. I'm getting, in a couple of years. I'll be 60.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But the problem is that that's about when my relatives have had heart problems, when they're in their 60s and everything. So I've joined Curves Complete because I'm Medicare. The reason why I'm saying all this is every month we get measured. And I'm not going to say fat, but I am obese. I mean, so keeping that in mind, since the end of January, I got into the Curves Complete program, and I've lost 22 pounds. But I have more to lose. If I were to say that I'm thin, that I know that I would just emotionally say, well, I'm not going to try to lose weight. But since I know that I am overweight, I am trying to lose weight, and I am losing weight.
Well, and see, I didn't say to have her feel thin. To feel in her body just as she is right now. Is that right, Yvonne? To feel that you don't have to get skinny. It's your own world view of yourself,
Okay.
you know. And the result of this for Yvonne, my bet is that in 1 month she'll get on the scale, or even 2 weeks, and she's going to see a shift because of her shift of perception of herself. The body doesn't lie. So be careful of what you're telling yourself, because if you say fat, what do we get more of? Exactly what we don't want, right? So when you just declare that I am beautiful, and I like myself just the way I am. Now, can I make some changes? Of course. We're always in process, right?
A work in progress.
We're all work in
Somebody y'all had on there earlier said, and that's the way I look at myself.
Yeah. So we always have that place where we've improved to, and we hit that marker, and then there's something else. That's the good news about being human. We can do this. We're here to grow. We're not really here just to die, although we can die to old ways of being. Right? Can you relate to dying to old ways of being? Someday this body's going to give out and we're going to have that great transition. But why not live life to the fullest, believing that you are everything and more than what you perceive, and think positive thoughts. I'm beautiful, I'm courageous, I'm smart, well, I don't know how to do calculus. Does that make me dumb? No. I can balance my checkbook. Woohoo! You know? Yeah. So, anyway, so I just want to share really quickly about the drawing. Yeah? Well, I was just going to share quickly about your drawing. How many just drew your head? Okay, now I'm not making any judgment about this, but it may be that you could be more connected to your body. If you're very intelligent and you're so just kind of look at that. If you drew your torso, do you feel grounded? So these are just, the reason why I didn't give you any instructions is to trick your mind into just being right where you are and how you think about yourself. So does that give you any more ahas about your drawing? Now
How many people had some ahas?
Yeah, how
When
many-
they looked to see how they drew themselves. Anybody go, oh, that's interesting, I wonder why I did that.
Yeah.
Anybody raise your hands if you had an aha in your
Yeah.
drawing and that experience?
So you can look at this, yes.
Yeah, I had a revelation of mine. I know I don't like to draw because I never had instructions, so I don't, like most people, don't think of any good. But my thing is as a caretaker, and I'm sandwiched with the Vietnam vet and also my granddaughter who has special needs, I drew myself very small. And that, in the last year since we've had her, my world and myself has been shrinking. And again, it's like,
Paula can speak to that very well. Do you
Yeah.
want to say something about that, Paula?
Well, we just did this exercise before, and with, we did this awesome program. In fact, you have the results of it in a DVD in your packet, The Path of Joyful Living, and it was like this, but 2 days, and everybody got energy healings and coaching, and it was extensive, the same content, but extensive. And it was with all the staff and participating board members of Parent to Parent in Miami. And I can remember, and we did this process looking down at this one parent whose child has a very severe disability. And on the 8.5 by 11 page, she was this big. You know, she was, I mean, she was all there, you know. I mean, all of her was there, but that was the size. And, you know, just personally, I can relate to that as, you know, my world shrank, our world shrank, you know, as we tend there. And then we have these opportunities, you know, you follow the yellow brick road and, you know, oh, I'm going to go to this workshop, I'm going to go there, da-da-da, and you get these ahas, and you can really say, wow, I don't have to live that small. You know, I'm living small, but I don't have to. You know, my world has reduced me there. I've chosen to make some choices, and this is where I am now. I don't have to live that small, you know, and then we begin to make other choices. That was Dr. Kennelly. That's all of this work, is that when we have these ahas, then you have other choices because your awareness, your consciousness about yourself and your thoughts and beliefs about self and others has expanded. And then you begin to make other choices, and that leads to other actions, and then we have other outcomes, right? Our thoughts, beliefs, we take action based on those, and we have outcomes based on that. Then our outcomes lead us to different thoughts and beliefs, and we keep evolving, you know, we keep evolving. We're meant to evolve, and when we feel stuck, we know that that's not the place that we're meant to be. Because we're meant to evolve. It's that spiral that's in every, you know, any religious tradition, spiritual practice, you have a spiral. And that's us. We're spiraling up. We become aware, we spiral up. More and more and more. That's what consciousness is. Consciousness is everything. Consciousness is all three of these things. You hear that word batted around a lot. But it's our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, it's our whole beingness is our consciousness. Yes, Sharon?
What did you do to take care of yourself while you were taking care of your daughter? Did your husband, you know, give you some free time or something? How did you refresh yourself?
Well, you know, I'm different now than then, let me say. But I dove into my work, and my work has always been my saving grace, which then when I didn't have my work with disability, with the loss of my daughter, I fell really into a severe depression, and it was a different experience for me. Because my daughter gave me much purpose. But my life was very, very narrow. I defined myself narrow. I was very rigid. My marriage, everything blew up at one time, was in an accident. My health, my marriage, my daughter's death, went my marriage, went my home, went my passion about what I was doing. And when I look at that now, it was just it was an opportunity for change. You just either, it's that Y in the road, and I dug myself out of that, you know. But we can shrivel up, you know, when those challenges come, or we can expand. And when we find ourselves shriveled and we realize it, it's just the opportunity at that moment to begin to expand ourselves. So Judy, you have an awesome diagram there. So yes, we got the 3 circles. So go ahead. Thoughts and beliefs. And what we want to ask here is, this is thoughts and beliefs, if you can't see in the back. And those lead us to action. What we believe about ourselves is very predictive of what action we're going to take. Right?
So thoughts and beliefs is number 1?
Yeah. And then, but that kind of leads us into what action, and our action at every moment is going to predict outcome. We think it's our husband, we think it's all external, but our own action is what predicts the outcomes and results in our lives. We have to take ownership of that. No, but I have a husband, you wouldn't believe my life, and I have this and that, or no. We always are totally responsible, and when we embrace that, we live much more fully. I mean, it's a little painful in the beginning, but once we get that, I'm fully responsible for my actions. Okay, I'm fully responsible for my outcomes. I had a blow up with my mother. I take full responsibility for the blow up with my mother. But your mother's so argumentative. Who could get along with her? I take full responsibility for the blow up with my mother. That's living a responsible life. But so we have these outcomes, and that's going to predict our thoughts and beliefs. Right? It's our world view. And our view up here, if we think if this is our whole view of life, what percentage of that do you think is on our conscious level? Because we have beliefs about ourselves that we don't even know we have, right? And we have thoughts that we don't even recognize. Did I know that I stood in front of my grandfather's, casket and began mourning and had grief in my body that was really having an influence on all of this? No, it was totally unconscious. So what percentage do you think of our thoughts and beliefs are conscious that we know about? 2, 5, 10, 20, 80, 100? Who tell me, somebody. Probably like 3 out of 10. Maybe 30%. We might be 30% aware. Somebody else? Anybody else have a different idea? So let's just say it's 30%. Maybe 2%. Depending on who the person is. Some people do this work intensive, they're just so aware. They're mindful, they just love walking down the street, right? They're mindful about everybody, they know who they are, they're centered in their heart, they're very caring, compassionate, right? They express themselves fully. I mean, you see them, like, wow, they're like magnets. Let me talk about how he looks, right? Yeah, that person's probably, much more on the conscious level. So what this work is, all healing work, is bringing what is in our unconscious, what we don't know, into the conscious and bring it into what we do know. And what Dr. Kennelly was saying, what Judy alluded to, it is scary to do that. We rather not do that. Because you've got to experience some pain. But then you surrender to that pain. Might last a minute, might last a week, might last an hour. You surrender to that. Oh man, I really blew the thing with my mom. We'll surrender to that, surrender to whatever that is. And that is the way out, because it brings it to an awareness. You release it, you let it go. You're not blaming yourself. No one is to blame. There's no guilt, there's no shame. It's just what is. And you just love what is, let it come up. Feel it in your body. As we feel it in our body, we stay tuned to our body, and it's going to teach us what is coming up. I'm feeling nervous right now. I'm getting anxious right now. I'm feeling angry right now. What if you could then say that and not be into a big mess with somebody? But right, you're responsive to the moment. You're mindful of the moment. But most of us are not mindful to our heads over here, our bodies over here. And it's like, it's like, we're totally disconnected. We don't know we're nervous because we don't even know we've got a body half the time. We've just totally disconnected from it. So that body and being connected and mindful. So, yes, we're bringing today up. The drawing, you're going to look at it again. Maybe something came up today. You're going to go to bed tonight, and you might wake up first thing in the morning and go, jeepers, look at my hand. My mother held her hand like that, or why have I got this or that, or whatever. Some things pop, and they'll continue to pop. Because it is you've invited in the experience to share something with myself. Let me tap into my unconscious, into my dream world, into that other part of myself, and bring things up to my awareness that then can change. So where can we, Judy, where do you think we can intervene? Or where do you think we can intervene the most.
Well, with Yvonne, where do you think we intervened? You had a thought and a belief, and that was creating an action and an outcome in your body.
Right.
So where on this could you change?
My thought.
So if you changed it here,
Yes.
would this change your action? So if you had an intervention on your thoughts and your beliefs about yourself, would that create a different action in you? Right. It's harder to change it from here to here.
Thoughts to action.
But then, so that's where you looked at, I am beautiful. That was an intervention. That's going to create a different action in you and a reaction in your body. I don't know why, let's go get this.
And I have a question now. Say, I was just thinking, if I see myself like this, what if I drew myself every weekend and would that be some kind of help to my action?
Yes,
I see myself.
because here's another, where's one of those?
Could you repeat the statement, Judy, so we can hear?
Okay.
And I can walk around with the mic.
I'm flipping this thing around. Isn't it? I'm going to go back to that thing. Get that. This is. So, what was your statement again,
I
Yvonne?
was saying, like, if I draw myself on a weekly basis and see if I come up with the same thought, the same word.
Yeah.
That's
So
gonna help my.
exactly. So what Yvonne is saying is she drew herself again, or drew herself weekly, and even came up with, as she was drawing, the words that come up, the positive, the negative words, and then work with it and make positive I ams to flip that around. Absolutely, that's part of this process. And the other thing that we did in Parent to Parent Miami when we did this, first they drew themselves like this, and they came up with their words. And we made positive statements, same thing. And then they had an opportunity to draw themselves again, so thank you. And do you think that they drew themselves differently? Would you draw yourself differently if you had, yeah. So with some awareness of what's coming up, definitely you would, and the reason why I didn't give you any instructions, because I wanted you to be your perfect self as you view yourself right now. If I'd given you, make sure you've got all your feet and all your toes and your fingers, you would have drawn it differently, right? Maybe you would do that now. Maybe you would, put stilettos on or something. The guys would wear a fedora or something, be a little sassy. So, however, that's a very good thing if you wanted to do that, to draw yourself weekly or monthly, and then what are those words that are coming up for you, and then change them to I am statements that are positive for you. And that is something we are going to do today, that we're going to work with. What's next here? Let me make sure I've got everything. Oh, there was another thing that I wanted to, so let's go back to this. So your intervention can be here to change your belief. Now, in this moment, did Yvonne lose weight? No. But did she change her worldview? Yes. So her actions in the world might choose how she kind of dresses differently, how she feels about herself, what she puts in her mouth, how much water she's drinking. Maybe she's going to eat more spinach. So her actions are going to be very different here when you go to McDonald's or wherever it is that you love to eat. The outcome, in a couple of weeks, she gets on the scale and she hasn't done anything. She hasn't gone on a diet. Her diet was, I am beautiful. Change that thought. Change the neurology in your body. Change that old belief. What are you going to do? You're going to want more of that, aren't you? So when you draw yourself again and you come up with those words, you want to find those negative ones. We already know the positive ones, right? We want to look at those ones that are holding us back and blocking a positive action in your life that's going to give you the outcome that you want, right? Does that make sense? Yep.
I have a question in this context.
Here, let me
Thank you. I have a question in this context about the negative and the positive and how we can change our thinking, feeling, acting, reacting, and all that. I was thinking for myself, I'm stuck. When I first arrived in America, I was on the verge of retirement. I found myself in very inaccessible surroundings. I couldn't even use the bathroom because the toilet bowls are fitted in the floor. When I graduated from being ambulatory and crutches to a wheelchair and having to get around in a wheelchair, I couldn't do 7 flights of stairs. I couldn't even use the bathroom and had to be cared for even for my personal needs. So at that point, I was full of purpose. I was very driven, and I worked very hard, prayed very hard, and then, I didn't have a penny to come to the US, not even to write a letter. Then I got a scholarship, and I arrived in the US, went to graduate school, worked and all that. But then, that was a new immigrant, always in motion, keep it going, keep living, keep achieving, carefree, active, hopeful, purpose-driven, full of compassion, outgoing. And now, sitting on a mound, passive, almost paralyzed, burdened, my wheelchair, the shape of my wheelchair is like a big mound. And then emerging as an aggressive, assertive person full of animosity, not really an advocate, but, acting to be an advocate, but not knowing how to do that, especially self-advocacy. And then constrained and perceived as adversity and turning in on oneself. Now this, because of cumulative adversity, having been in 3 accidents, suffering a brain injury. Now my question is, you talked about synaptic changes, the spasticity of the brain, and not plasticity of the brain. The brain being plastic and malleable can be trained and taught. We don't have to consign ourselves to a fate. Now, in this therapy, how can you help us to train our brains to be more plastic and retrain our thinking to a better, hopeful, optimistic future?
Well, going back to Dr. Kennelly, I believe that somatic therapies help with that, because Dr. Kennelly's work, other people's work, who does somatic therapies, where we release that stress load on our body.
Somatic therapy.
Yeah, somatic therapies. Yeah, somatic therapy. So that is working with the body and the energy within the body. And so trauma, 3 accidents, and our perceptions of that and what it does to us, going back to PTSD and all of that, is that that stress is held within the body, and that does impact the brain chemistry. Judy, you want to answer that?
The difficulty is, and thank you for sharing that, is that there are some things that my father has MS, and he had a brain tumor, and he did everything he can with medical, with the medical community and with alternative therapies. They were living in Canada, and they basically said to him, here's your wheelchair, here's your cortisone, here's the number for the MS Society. And he said, no, I'm not, thank you. And he found alternative nutrition and that kind of thing, and did his own research and was able to recover, and he's been in remission with the MS for probably 35 years. He's 88 now. And he really attributes it to his meditation, his eating, his whole mind, body, spirit dedication to, and I would be interested to see how he draws himself on the page, because I think he draws himself very big on the page as a spiritual being, as a result of what he's gone through, that we're here to live our lives, however that is, with all of the challenges, the tornadoes that smash us up against the wall, burn our homes, and put us in wheelchairs, and you know, with the children that we bring in, and then who become adults. So, you know, there are lots of alternatives, and what we're offering today is some of the, you know, the alternatives that you can do. And I'm sure that, you know, Dr. Kennelly and what he has to offer would be very beneficial in some way to you. And so I would encourage you to go on his website, and he's really working in depth with his work, that he would be very good for you.
What's the website?
It'll be in our resources at the end. We have a whole list of resources, and you can also go back and look at his website. But
And just to add to that, in terms of stress itself and looking at all the stress literature, music is an incredible de-stressor. But singing, you know, listening is one thing, but singing, I really believe, just rewires. And when you think of when we did those chants and all the stimulation into the pituitary and all of that, and singing what kinds of songs, you know, really, if thought is that powerful, what is in our music? And we're going to show you some slides in terms of what the impact of thought has had and the impact of music has had on water molecules that is of interest. The other thing is gratitude. You know, we need to get stuck. There's just budding research about gratitude. A gratitude journal every night. Writing down. Not just I say them in my head and I'm going to sleep. That doesn't really count. You write it down. Again, it's using as many senses as you can at any time. Right? The feel of it, the thought of it, the saying of it, and the hearing of it. As much as you can do that, that's how we learn. Going back to children, we know how that's how children learn, and that's what brings us into our energy body, using all four of those.
And Dr. Kennelly talks about this in his movie too, about music, dance, art, movement as therapy. And the research now is showing that it really enhances what the medical community is doing. The medical community can only take it so far. And at some point, we need a greater, you know, stepping into that creative, because actually we're the healer. When we realize that if we have this going on and our outcome is, and this is what my dad taught me, was that if he had thoughts about himself and his actions were creating really bad habits as far as where he was on the page of his life raising 7 kids, that he was very small. But when he changed his actions and did his meditation and he changed his eating, his outcome was that his MS subsided or went into remission. His brain tumor, they had to remove it, but he had no loss of function of his mental capacity. And he looked at that as a positive thing for himself. So his outcome, he really was in that place. And he's a musician, and he can no longer sing, but it doesn't bother him anymore. He's 88, he's done his music, but music was very big therapy for him. He and my mom painted. So take some action in this. The action, your thoughts can create an action that's a creative process for you. And we encourage you to dance and listen to music and move with it. You know, at the break we had on Firework, Katy Perry. You know, just put on something that inspires you. I saw some movement back there. And that is loosening up those things that are tight in our body. And we kind of get into that, you know. So do more of it. This is really healing therapy. And Dr. Kennelly, like I said, he talks about that. Chemotherapy has been found to be more effective. The side effects on chemotherapy when you're doing art, when you're doing meditation, when you're listening to music. So this is all part of the new science that they're doing studies on.
And then there's the tried and true is just give.
When we're stuck in our own victim, our own story, you just give to others. And if you believe in karma, what you give out comes back to you, right? So even if you give grudgingly in the beginning, but you give in some form, you volunteer as a form of giving, there's many different forms of giving. Giving is the most healing action that I can think of to do. You just give. What can I do for you? What can I do? And come from that place of service, and it will get you out of the place of feeling that woe is me, and gives you in the place of being empowered and being of service to others. And then you find all those other people who, those universal struggles. And we have to connect up with those universal struggles. Love what is. What struggle is I am into? Feeling sorry for me is a universal struggle. Connect up with people who always have been in that struggle as well and are transcending it, are stepping out of it. And how have they done it? And giving is a very powerful way.
I think that's a great truth,
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to just give you a quick tool, again, going back to your drawing and the words that might come up and the negatives and shifting those. So for Yvonne, I am beautiful, she got to see her drawing and the words. And then we had her say it. And she heard herself say it. And then she felt it. We can either embed the good stuff or embed the bad stuff. Seeing it, saying it, hearing it, feeling it in the positive reinforces the positive. So with you and drawing another drawing, having those words come up, changing it to I am beautiful, and stand in front of the mirror, visual, get your visual, see yourself say it, see yourself, believe that you are beautiful. I mean, really do it. Say it out loud, because your voice has a vibration. It's like music to your ears. So hear yourself say it. There's a vibration that comes out of that. It showed in her muscle test. It raised her vibration. The energy was down when she said that other word, but when she said beautiful, it came up. She felt it. It was evident in her body, right? So these are very powerful tools for yourself. And to gift to your children when they're feeling down about themselves. And then, when you see it, say it, hear it, feel it, and you say, thank you. I just got chills up my arms when I said thank you. So that gratitude is another part of this. Thank you. And so it is, right? I'm sure at some point in your life you've all felt this. Now, one thing you can do is, okay, right now, close your eyes and think of a peak moment in your life, a 10. Like this is on a scale of 1 to 10, where you felt you were on top of the world. You were not separate from the Creator, actually. So see it. Say it. And if you right now just want to say it in your mind's eye, just say it to yourself. And hear that vibration of that moment, of that person, of that place, of that thing. And feel it in your body. Feel that number 10 peak experience. I'm going to be quiet for a minute and let you get it, and then raise your hand when you've got it. Raise your hand, because guess what? I'm not going to move on until everybody gets their peak experience. Some of these arms are going to grow tired here if you don't get on it. All right. Number 10, experience. Okay, thank you, everyone. And those who didn't raise their hand, I know you've got one, so work on it. So this is when you're feeling down, recall this one. Because you probably have many more times, but you need to do it more. How many can recall that pretty quickly, that number 10 experience? Okay, so keep that in your toolbox. What's next, Paula?
Finding my slide changer is next. So it's the I am.
I am. That is I am.
That is the I am, and I believe it's the I am on our self-care and assessment form. So if you could get back out your self-care and no, you know what? Yes, get that out and prepare for doing that in just a few minutes. And I moved my page too quickly. So, as an example, just in case you're doubting what we're telling you, which we know you haven't doubted anything that we've told you, we're going to watch a clip of a movie called What the Bleep. Has anybody seen that? What the Bleep? Okay. So it's a short piece of it, but you're going to see a woman in stress and frustration and a set of beliefs about the world that leaves her in stress and frustration. And then interesting to see what she runs into.
By the way, she has a disability. The woman that is the actress in this, she has a disability. She's completely deaf. I can't believe that.
Are doing it.
Just tell me where you are. Good. But hurry with it, please, because these models are giving me a headache.
10 minutes.
Became terribly interested in the molecular structure of water and what affects it. Now, water is the most receptive of the 4 elements. Mr. Emoto thought perhaps it would respond to non-physical events. So he set up a series of studies, applied mental stimuli, and photographed it with a dark field microscope. This first picture is a picture of water from the Fujiwara Dam. And this picture is the same water after receiving a blessing from a Zen Buddhist monk.
What? So what did you just see? It was fast. It was, yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah.
They were organized. It just seemed organized.
So the water molecules were all over the place, kind of dark, right, and scattered. And then to a blessing, which are our thoughts, right? What is a blessing more than, how do we give a blessing without thought? I mean, we can't really, right? I mean, we could energetically send love from the heart, and we can learn to do that. We can do that. Maybe we don't add some words to it, but there's still thoughts. So prayer, we're praying all the time. We said there's expression I love, we're praying all the time, so what are you praying for, right? We're praying all the time. All of our thoughts are prayers. So what is it that you're praying for? So when we wonder what we're getting in our life, we got to backtrack and say, well, what am I thinking or don't even know that I think and feel and believe, that is generating what exists in my life. Because we are creating our own reality. We create it through the view, through our filter, through our perception. We create our own reality. And what the bleep, watch the whole movie, because it's all about her and how she goes about creating one reality, which was here in total frustration and all of that, and then creates a whole different reality. And that's how we change a reality, is by shifting our beliefs. I mean, you might be shocked, but it's not changing husbands, you know. It's not changing wives. It's not getting that new car. It's just like, you know, oh darn, you know, a new car would be easier, you know. No, I gotta change how I'm seeing things, oh no. So we see that, and just to say a little bit more about that, there's the polluted water, and there's the dam water after prayer. Our bodies are 75% water. The universe, our planet Earth, is 75% water. So it computes the impact of our thoughts on ourselves and on others. You know, sorcery, just for negative thinking about others, it's a form of sorcery when you really understand, you know, it's a negative, real impact. When we are thinking negatively about other people. So look at this. This is Bach. This is playing Bach over that same Fuji Dam water. Right? So there's music. And our body's so responsive. It goes back to that plasticity, you know, of our brain and our body. Our body responds. You know, we've got to give it a chance. This is thank you. Not only that, he taped messages on bottles. It wasn't people, first of all, it was people praying over the water, right? And that, whoa, look at that. But then it's like, wow, what if the intention of the word was on it? And some of them are very negative, and I didn't go there with this. I just showed the ones where the words on the bottles are positive. This was taped on the bottle of water, and this was the impact on that. So the thank you, the gratitude, the positive thinking, there's a whole realm of discipline, positive psychology, that is just taking off because we're more and more understanding that. So we got our old tapes running. You just stop the tape. It's becoming aware. It's becoming mindful. That is a negative tape about myself. Why would I say that? Stop. And then you pull up a tape, just like Judy, you know, had you do, of a number 10. And you go, you know what? I'm on my drive. You know, I got 20 minutes in the car. I can run this tape, the polluted dam water in Fuji, you know, Fujiwara, dam water, or I can run this tape, which is that number 10 experience that I had, you know, when I was 10. It's all your mind, and you get to choose which tape you're going to run. It's all it is. It's really about choosing. Once you become aware, then you have a choice. And if you're aware and you keep choosing negative, you've got to wonder, you know. And sometimes that heavy-duty energy work helps give us more choice, because we just peel that negative stuff off of the body, and we have a little bit more choice of you know, making those interventions at the moment, as Judy showed up there. So we live in struggles, and many of them are what we consider universal struggles, you know. For example, I would say, Judy, how would you say, like, I'm not good enough? Is that a universal struggle? What do you guys think? I'm not good enough? Yeah. Yeah. James, is there another universal struggle?
Awareness that something is a universal struggle. Sometimes we think we're alone, not realize that we're actually struggling with something, that other people are struggling, and we don't know that others are struggling.
Awesome. Yeah.
How can I write that?
So a universal struggle is the awareness that other people are in that same boat. Yeah. And sometimes we're not aware that they're in the same boat. But there's an awareness that people are in the same boat. Great. Another universal, like everybody experiences this, has these. Yes?
Nothing's ever going to change.
Nothing's ever going to change. It's a belief. It's a belief. Universal. We all step into that belief. Nothing's going to change. Don't come with that. Right? So let me ask, if that is a firm belief, does anything change? No. And you get to be right. I told you so. Right? So we have to change the thought, and then we say, oh man, change is possible. Oh, did you see Susie? Man, she's like dynamo. She looks like totally different. Change is possible. Oh, let me hold that belief for a week. Hold that belief for a week and see all the change all around you. Yeah. How about another one?
What's the use?
What's the use? What's the use? What's the use because, how would you finish that?
What's the use? I've tried. The people around don't care.
People don't care. I keep trying. People don't care. People don't care. That's a universal.
I can't do it.
I can't do it no more. That's it. I just can't do it no more. Right.
Time. Is time, do you have a belief about time?
There's never enough time. Never enough time. There's not enough time. Yes.
I would say I wouldn't risk it.
Oh, nice.
I know, it's like crazy. I wouldn't risk it. No. Let's not take a risk. Yeah.
Would useless be the same as what's the use?
Useless?
Yeah, would it be the same, what's the use?
Like who's useless in that?
Self. Self.
Self.
Self. Yeah, just feeling useless. Ah, yeah. Yeah, how many people have felt useless at some point? I mean, all right, everybody's hand, come on, everybody's hands up, right? We've all felt useless at some point. Absolutely.
I
Yes.
got one.
Yes.
Everybody around me is useless.
All right, I have one. I'm single. Men are useless. Do you think I'm going to stay single? Yes. Yes.
It's the way it's always done.
It's the way it's always done. Right, that's it. That's it. Why bother? Why it's always done, we'll just keep doing it that way. Change is too hard. Yeah. So is change too hard when you believe change is too hard?
Yeah.
Do you change when change is too hard? What's the use? What?
Circular thinking.
Yeah, it's circular thinking, yes. There we go again, right? Change.
It's, there is no one who can validate who I am as a person, or if I do something I think is right as a caregiver, other caregivers will laugh at me and make fun of me and tell me I'm wrong for doing it.
Yes, yes. Being made fun of, potentially taking a risk and I'll be made fun of.
My mother would laugh at my countless parents doing what she thought was right to do.
And you witnessed, your caretaker being laughed at. So we see it, and it's hurtful the first time, and we certainly want to avoid it the second time, right? It's hurtful to witness things that we witness as children. And then we do everything possible not to re-experience that, and we hold beliefs about it. But it becomes barriers to our full potential. Yeah, great. Who else? Yes?
It's nothing you can do for them.
Oh, there's nothing you can do for them. Just walk away or...
It's like with, we have caregivers support groups, but for people with Alzheimer's or dementia, there is 0 care groups for them because they're the walking dead. So there is no caregiver. So there's nothing you can do
So it's a hopelessness. There's nothing you can do for certain populations, certain people, Alzheimer's being an example. Yes?
How about assumption? People you very quickly assume things, and sometimes they say,
Yeah, the assumptions we make, right? So those fall all in those thoughts and beliefs, right? And we make all of these assumptions. And then we're usually right. Gosh darn, isn't that how funny how it works? Right? We make these assumptions and we're right. Why? Only because that's the filter through which we're seeing. And we have the power to manifest what it is that we see. Watch what the belief. You'll love it. It's exactly that message. She walks into this two couple and she thought she revisits something that was not true at all, right? Because we're assuming and that what we saw. That's the communication thing, right? When everybody sees and hears a different thing. Why? Because it's assumptions. Yes?
Lack of compassion and empathy that people have.
Yes, so there's a universal struggle. It keeps us all stuck, is this lack of compassion and empathy. Yes?
I'm sick of abusive police and stigma.
Yes, the police, the stigma. People's assumptions, again, the stigma that they have, yes? Fear. Good one, yeah. Fear is universal, right? It's the core kind of evil within us in a way. If there's an evil, it's fear.
Talking about stigma, that's a very big thing for us, people with disabilities, especially stigma from the medical community as a whole. Neurologists who take on the role of psychologists. And,
There's more there.
So you see, we could go on and on, right? We could go on and on. So the question is then for ourselves is, with all of these universal struggles, what do? I think we've given you some tools today, some options. And empowering yourself that you have choices and knowing that you have choices and getting feedback through drawing, through journaling, through meditation, through a loving friend, just having a listening ear. You get to hear yourself, and then now that you know that you can take these words and put a positive I am to them and actually change the energy in your body by that, you've got options. So we're going to do the I am at this point. Is that what we're going to do? What's the next thing? Oh, we get to go on a journey. Has anyone, I'm sure you guys have done journeys before where you do a guided meditation. Would you like to experience that now? I hope so. Say yes, because you're going to do it anyway. Yeah, we're going to do a guided meditation. And because we have this beautiful rain, and we're in this hallway with all these paintings, this art that is water, we thought it would be great to do a meditation that has to do with water, and also with Dr. Emoto's work, that a journey at this point with water. Does anybody have water fear? Don't worry, you're not going to have to really swim, and you'll come out the other side, I promise. Okay? So before we go on the journey, Paula, let's just do some tapping to kind of wake up the body a little bit. So Paula's going to guide us through that. Everybody stand up. Yep.
Stand up. All right, this is called Emotional Freedom Technique. This is awesome. This is a rewiring. You can Google it, EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique.
I can't tap into that. Okay. So, what's our word? I love and accept myself. How about that? How many people would love to fully accept themselves? Exactly who we are, because we're not going to change. We got to just change our perception of ourselves. Okay, so that's what we're going to tap. We're going to tap in, and we're going to tap it into our energy field, our meridians, our energy field. So here we go. Just watch me, and I'll tell you where I'm going. Okay, I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly
exactly as I am. Eyebrows. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Under the eyes. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Chin. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Ears. Behind. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Wrist. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. And now we're just going to pat down. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Come back up. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Love what is. Love what is. All right. And then everything underneath your chair on the floor, just get comfortable to go on journey, to go on a guided meditation.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit while Paul is getting this set up. We're going to go on a journey. We're going to get in some water and just realize, trust the process, what's coming up for you, and let go. This music was created especially for something. The resilient voices here. Okay. So gently feel your seat, sitting in a chair. Close your eyes. Feel your feet on the floor. Wiggle your toes. Take a deep breath of light force air breath in.
allow yourself to come to the edge of the stream and you step into the water. And you feel the cool water on your toes and your ankles. And the current slowly moving past your ankles. You notice that the river water, the current is rising. The current is getting a little stronger. But you're still drawn to stay there and feel the coolness of the water. And it's almost like the river is washing, the water is washing through you. And it rises a little bit more and a little bit more, and the current gets stronger. And you notice the roots on the edge of the bank. And the water seems to be rising and getting stronger and stronger. And so you reach to the roots and hang on. And it's almost as though you maybe want to lay down. And you allow yourself, if that's something that you feel like you want to do, lay down, but hang on to those roots. The current's getting stronger and stronger, and the river is rising. And a voice comes and it says to you, it's time to let go. But you resist. You want to keep holding on to the bank. It's what happens when you let go. So you resist. But the river is getting stronger and stronger, and the water is pulling you. You can feel the water pulling you, pulling your body, pulling your arm as you grip onto that root. And suddenly, you're trying to climb out. You're kind of in a bit of a panic and a fear. The bank is slippery. And fear turns to panic. What is this fear? And that voice returns again. And in a loving, melodic voice, it says, it's time. Time to let go. Have faith that all will be well. Surrender. The root snaps, and you are pushed from the shore with a great force. You are riding on top of the current. You realize if you struggle, you're going to be using your life force energy, so you allow yourself to float on top. But your body is rigid and you're not quite comfortable. Your heart is pounding. And you begin to look around. What do you see? What do you hear? What does the river feel like now? You can't touch the bottom. You try to look back, but you can't. And you come back into the present, and you begin to surrender more and more and really feel the water. And you begin to enjoy the movement. In fact, it almost feels as though you have lost your body completely and are absorbed into the water. You are one with the water. And you barely notice your arms and your legs. But you're able to maneuver in the current. That's exhilarating. The current is strong, and there you are floating. Your cells are also the cells of the river. Again, you feel that oneness. And you feel the flow beneath you holding you. And you look downriver as you're floating and see that it will soon empty into a vast body of water. And you get kind of excited. The coming together of the fresh water and the salt water. You're almost there. And you begin to feel the turbulence of the fresh water and the salt water coming together. And you bob around in the clash
deeper into her love embrace. You are nothing, and you are everything. Floating in the salty, rolling calmness of the ocean, you get the sense that the water has washed through you and has swept away any doubts or fears. All the old stories that no longer serve you. You feel freer and lighter again. Notice how you feel. The current is carrying you now closer to the shore, and you can actually see the shore. And you begin moving your arms and legs, taking control again of moving towards the sand that you see. Feeling the strength in your arms and legs, the strength of your body. And you allow yourself to come to the sand, belly to the sand, and you use your arms and your legs to get your footing and come back into balance on the land and come to a full standing position. The water still lapping gently at your feet and ankles. And looking back at this magnificent body of water that held you. See if there's any message in this journey for you. Just notice. Take a moment. What is that message that is meant just for you? You have survived. You have thrived. Notice any shifts or changes. And as your feet move to higher ground, it seems that the water has melted away old cares and heaviness too. Your steps are lighter. You turn and thank the water. So in your mind's eye, say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And take a deep breath in. Feel your body, feel the breath, fill your lungs, and breathe it out. And as you take a breath in again, wiggle your fingers and toes and move your neck and your torso, coming back to the room, coming back to your body. Take another breath in and out. Come back to your mind, your lighter mind, your lighter thoughts. Come back into your spirit fully. Tap your body now. Come back. Come back. Remember who you are. What's your name? Tap your feet on the ground. Move. Thank you. So take a moment there on that back of your drawing of yourself and just make a few notes if anything came up for you, what you felt, any body sensations, and just make notes for yourself on that. Just take a couple of minutes. And also really come back to the room that you were all, I could just see this alpha state going on. So I'll be quiet. Okay, thank you, everyone. Does anyone want to share just very briefly about their journey?
I love water, and I've always loved water. Now after my first child was born, I had more of a fear, but diving from a diving board to me was like extremely good. I was not afraid to dive into the ocean from a boat. But after my children were born, life changed quite a bit, and I became fearful. I had to take care of me, and I couldn't be that free. But in the journey, as soon as she says, there is a current and it feels home, I wanted to dive in. I didn't want to hold on to that root or anything else. I said, "Why do I have to hold on to anything?" So maybe that's a little different, but.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, one of my questions on there was, did anybody want to go diving in? Yeah.
I chose not to let the branch break and pull me. I chose to just let go.
Good. Did you hear that? She chose to just let go and not let the branch break.
So that way, at least I know it's a control issue, but I made the choice.
That's great.
Drag, let go
Mhm.
of the drag.
Great. So, and it's always a choice in a meditation where you go with that, even in a guided visual meditation. So thank you. So, does anyone else have anything to share, or we'll move into the next piece? Wow, we just have so much we still want to share with you guys. So, gals and guys. So the self-care plan is in your booklet. If you'll pull out the self-care vision and plan, it's this page 3, and it is declaration and commitment to self-care. So one of the things is, you know, you can have all these tools and go home and never pick it up again. Or you might think, oh yeah, well, I don't have time. So one of the things that we encourage you to do is to actually make a declaration of this. And even if you just do it here, it's going to affect you no matter what. You're going to, so the first, does everybody have that out? Okay, so the first thing, this is a declaration that, oh, okay. Do you want me to do that one? Okay, if we have time, we'll come back to that. So it says, I create an empowered vision of myself in which I choose to live in my own optimal and dynamic health. So that's a statement that, you know, you can make. So on this page, it says, I am, and go ahead and put your name there, because that activates. If you don't put a name there, it could be anybody. But activate what you want in your life. So go ahead and put, I am Judy, and I choose to make more time for myself, to love myself, to make space. In my drawing, when I draw myself small, I really want to make a more expanded view of myself. So I choose to expand the view of myself and love myself. So go ahead and make work with that for a few minutes. Do you have anything to comment on that, Paula?
Anybody have any questions? Is it kind of clear what we're doing? So go ahead and make it, it's a declaration. And this becomes part of my morning practice, is that I have these written out, and the best time is in those moments before your left brain kicks in, you know, your doing brain, just those first few minutes of the morning, and I pick it up and I read it, and I remind myself. So this is something that you're going to carry home with you, and you can use it every day, and just remind yourself who you are and what you're declaring, and then you live it, you begin to live it. So go ahead and fill in that first part.
Can we go ahead and read it out loud, Judy, so,
That whole,
It's very light.
it's very light and small.
oh, okay. Yes.
Yes.
Write down
Yes.
beliefs about yourself. Remember, beliefs are powerful. Choose the beliefs about that fully support your new vision of living an optimal, dynamic, and healthy, happy, loving life. You're right, I couldn't even see it myself till you pointed to that. So, choose the beliefs about the self that fully support your new vision of living an optimal, dynamic, and healthy, happy, loving life. And as you're writing that, in lieu of our time, I challenge you then in the morning for 1 week. You can do anything for 1 week. Look in the mirror, see it, see yourself in the mirror. Say it to yourself. Hear yourself saying it. Feel it in your body. Feel what this feels like to say, I am beautiful, I am loving, I am magnificent, I am amazing at bringing abundant health to me and drawing the love to me that I desire now. So you feel it. And then at the end, you say, thank you. And say thank you 3 times. Because the first time, it's just kind of weak. Then say it again. And then that 3rd time, just feel it in your heart. Hear it. Hear yourself saying it. See yourself saying it. That activates all of the senses. And you're going to change your thought. This is your intervention, your action to your outcome. And it will, this is your yellow brick road. Home. Does everybody have at least 1 or 2 sentences of I am written? Raise your hand if you do. Okay, a few more minutes then? Or a second? So when you're done with the I am, the vision of yourself, describe who you are and your vision of optimal and dynamic health. Remember the interconnectedness of mind, body, and spirit, and the need to address each aspect of the self. Here's a short example. I am a dynamic, loving woman, centered in the consciousness of my heart. My thoughts are positive and loving towards self and others. I am free of judgments. My body is healthy, all my bones are strong, and my cells are spinning, positively reproducing more healthy cells. I spend time in reflection and meditation for a minimum of, and you put in how many minutes, if this is something you would want to use. This creates a feeling of connectedness to myself, my loved ones, nature, and all beings. How do you change perfection, right? But put your own words in there.
2 sentences about 2 sentences. So just 2 sentences about mind. What is it? I have positive thoughts. Simple. My thoughts are positive. Just, it's a reminder. My thoughts are powerful. And my thoughts are powerful. I send loving thoughts to the people who I care about. Wow. Remind ourselves to do that every day. In our body. We're all cells. My cells are spinning positively. They spin in a positive way. Are healthy. My eyes are clear.
my bones are free of aches and pains. So what is it about your body that you want to remind yourself every day? I stay connected to my body. I'm someone who stays connected to my body. Mind, body, and spirit. I feel connected with nature. There's nothing more of spirit than feeling one with nature. I feel one with nature. I spend time in nature. What if we reminded ourselves? What if you love to spend time in nature and you never do it? In the morning you wake up and you go, yeah, and I spend time in nature. Wow. So then we begin to see how our life matches up to what we declare we are, who we are. And we begin to align our life to what we declare. And when we're not in alignment, I'm a loving, generous person, and you just, gave somebody the bird on the highway, right? I'm like, all right, well, no. Out of alignment, right? That's it. Doesn't matter. Give it up. Float it off. Wasn't in alignment at that moment. What happened to loving and caring, right? Back to loving and caring. So we don't hold it.
And then what actions are you going to take? So quickly, in 3 seconds or less, don't think about it too much. What actions are you going to take to support yourself in creating what you want, in doing that intervention on your thoughts? What action?
Start giving again, even if no agency wants to access my volunteer services.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Find but little ways to give in little ways.
Give in little ways. Yes, thank you. I'm going to take that one on. Thank you. And then resources. Ask the following persons to assist you on your journey to optimal health. So sometimes it helps to have a buddy to be accountable to. You're accountable to them, they're accountable to you. So it helps to have a buddy system. So if you know someone who can get you to yoga or get you to a meditation or to take you out and into nature where you can meditate, call on your community. Build a community that will support you.
Excuse me, can you go back to the resources, please?
Yes, Paul's going to do. Well, we haven't gone to the resources page yet. Have we?
Sorry.
We haven't, yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
Flipped accidentally. Yes. So you have your booklet, Easing Your Stress, is part of your packet today. David Emerald's TED, and Judy's a whiz on this, and we're going to talk more about it in our future trainings. So you'll have a chance to share your information with us, and if you want to attend future trainings, we're going to really focus on the TED, the empowerment dynamic. You have a picture of it. You have the diagram as a handout in your packet. It's a wealth of information on its website that we just, if you find yourself there and you want to see how you get out of the negative triangle at the bottom of disempowerment and move up into creative coaching empowerment, we urge you to look at David Emerald's site. And he has a wonderful website with lots of PDF downloads that you can print off on working with the dreaded drama triangle and switching that to an empowerment triangle, which is a passion-based and an outcome-based, which we've been talking about here. And there's a lot to cover in that. We could spend 3 days on that one thing alone. But go to the website and read some of his work, and I think he's got some video clips too. This work will change your life and the way that you communicate with others, the way that you communicate with yourself. All the characters in the Wizard of Oz, we can see that in the, if we pull that one up really quick, maybe I'll just, really quick, that that we had rescuer, victim, persecutor, bully was the witch, and even wizard became a bully, and Dorothy and each one of the characters was a victim. And then there was a rescuer. Always there was a rescuer, and even the wizard came in as the rescuer, and in the end, the bully became the rescuer, and then he kind of went off, and then they were left to their own. But when it switches from this drama triangle, which becomes self-perpetuating, self-fulfilling, you never can get out of this. This is a catch-22. When you move from rescuer or caregiver and caretaker and move that into a coach, you're not caretaking as much as you're wanting to empower this victim to become a creator. And that's what we're giving you some resources today. So this becomes more outcome-oriented rather than self-perpetuating drama. And then the situation in life, then, or the person, is no longer a bully, or it becomes just the challenge of life. And life has many challenges. Our disabilities, our kids on the playground, our boss, our husband, our wife, our children. So it just becomes a challenge, and then we have choices. We can do those interventions when we really realize that we have choices. We become a creator, and we have other ways of getting out of this place of victim where we find solutions. So this is an incredible dynamic. It changed my life when I found it, because I felt in my anxiety, it was all about the problems. I wanted to get up here so that I had a different outcome. I wanted to live life passionately. This was a game changer for me, learning how to communicate. And you'll find in your life, sometimes you're the challenger, sometimes you're the coach, sometimes you're the creator. You're all three. You're going to find yourself in all those positions. The people in your life will be those. So I encourage you, I can't tell you enough how I encourage you to go to the website and look at this and read what's there, because it really will change your life. Thanks for letting me go off on that. Yes, I'm passionate about this.
No, I'm glad, no, absolutely, that's what we needed to do.
All right, so we're just moving forward, and so that is a resource for you. We have Dr. Kennelly. We're posting the video if you want to share it with family, friends, colleagues. We have a gift for you as you turn in your evaluation form as you exit, and it's the Tree Meditation CD. It's the Brazilian Voices music, which you heard earlier during this meditation, but it is a tree meditation by Nothing Trumps Hope. And Judy and I wrote it, and you will recognize our voices. One voice, my voice.
Your voice, but the music is incredible. So there's 3 tracks. One is the meditation, and the other one is instruction for any of the gifts that might have come through any of the message journaling. And then the last track is just the music, so you can put any meditation to it. And this was made and gifted in a beautiful way by the Brazilian Voices. So enjoy.
And in your packet, you have a promo video gift, and that is the Path of Joyful Living program that we put in place last summer, and that we're going to do again, probably spring of 2014. It will be in Miami, and we're expanding upon what we did. What you will see are people who experienced the program and what they had to say about it. So it's called the Path of Joyful Living. It's this content. It will be a 3-day, possibly even 4. We're expanding it, and it will be with individual energy work sessions as part of the program, and there will be a health coach as well. And so it's Judy and I, Dr. Kennelly, and a health coach, so someone about nutrition. We cannot be well. We cannot live an optimal life without quality nutrition. So Forks Over Knives happens to be an awesome, and Michael Fahey could stand up and say, do you mind, would you just say something about it? Michael, do you mind? Oh gosh, I put him on the spot. But it's such an awesome resource. Do you mind?
Here, let me give you this.
Sure.
If you want to dig into good nutrition, okay, listen to Michael Fahey.
Yeah, Forks Over Knives on Netflix, Best Buy, last couple times I've checked. But That's a documentary I edited and had the privilege of working on. Pam Popper, who was here back when we showed Forks Over Knives a couple years ago at the conference. She's speaking one of these days. I'm not really sure when. Tomorrow morning. She's another great resource. She deals pretty much exclusively in plant-based diet and holistic treatments and healing. But I don't know, it's a great documentary to start to introduce you to a way of eating that puts all the power into your hands and accents approaching health from a perspective of your diet and aside from medications and medical treatments, the things that you can do if you're in a bad place to get back to a better one, or to keep you preferably from ever going down that path of chronic disease. But we treat a couple people within the movie who had type 2 diabetes, got both of them off of medications entirely. They lost massive amounts of weight very quickly with very little exercise, or without drastic exercise, without medication, really just by changing the way that they eat, and that, you know, translates to everything. It changes your outlook, the way that you just feel. I did the diet while I was working on the movie. I lost about 25 pounds doing it, and even more than losing the weight, you know, it just became easier to breathe. Blood pressure went way down, and I could weigh 200 pounds eating a poor diet, or 200 pounds eating a very clean, healthy diet. I'm really tall, so 200 pounds is pretty light for me. But 200 pounds and eating well, I feel a lot lighter. You know, my joints would feel better. And I'm a fairly young guy as well, but you know, even I could notice a difference just in overall how I felt doing daily activities when I started eating right. And for me, as someone who, I didn't come from any background of having any real physical ailments or any level of chronic disease, so to go from where a doctor would have said you're healthy to then, just by changing the way that I was eating, finding like an entire new plane of health. If you do have some ailment or some problem that needs to be corrected, or that needs to be addressed, you'll find that by changing the way that you eat, changing the tools that you're giving your body to deal with all of that, you're going to see a massive difference. And it's not just in, you know, the inches that you lose or the pounds that you lose. It's everything. You sit up straighter, you breathe easier, and all of those little things, as each one starts to get better, everything else starts to feel better. And I know that for me, I've gone from being, I do a lot of other things like weightlifting and stuff, but I always found it very empowering to have such control over my body from a physical standpoint, and that translates over to the mental. So when things are, you know, things seem hard or overwhelming, to take some power and see that you can affect some change in a direction that you want, whether it's losing weight or whether it's bringing down your blood pressure, suddenly you start to see that, you know, everything else seems much more possible when you can, you know, step on the scale or look in the mirror and see some sort of results, or go to the doctor and get a better reading.
Wow.
Thank you.
Pam Popper, yes. Pam Popper.
Is she the same nutritionist who comes on the Zadig vegetarian PBS channel 15?
That sounds like something she might be on. That sounds like something she might be doing.
How do you spell that?
Popper, Popper. Yep. I don't know, I show 'em.
Great, so, you know, you have a ton of resources, it sounds like, potentially right in the brochure. As you look through the workshops you're going to, just, you may make some different choices based on today. So there's resources, like, who knew? Wasn't that awesome? Let's give a round of applause. Thank you, Michael. That was just such an awesome documentary, you know, of personal experience. Well said. Thank you. So, the next step, we're getting close, is to pull out the evaluation form that's in your packet. And please complete it, and then we're going to come to a nice closure together. But we want you to take the time and complete the evaluation form. And then as you leave, you're going to hand that in. And it has two sides. So make sure, please, that you complete both sides. And what do, Judy? We hold up the form once you've finished, so we know where we're at. Once you've finished it, hold it up. Okay, so we'll take a couple minutes and to finish the form, the evaluation form. Thank you.
We're about halfway through. I mean, half of you haven't filled out, so we'll just take a few more minutes. James?
Sarah, you turn your evaluation? What? Turn your evaluation or you do this? Okay. Yeah. Yes, you can have it. You probably want to draw it. No, I don't want to do that. You taught me how to do that. You want this back? Alrighty then.
So when you turn in your evaluation form, don't leave yet because we want to do a closing. So please hang with us just a little bit longer. 2 minutes.
While you're all doing your evaluation, let me just give you some quick housekeeping downstairs. When you go down the escalator, you turn to the left for bag stuffing. Also, because you've been so kind sitting here, Yolanda is going to be selling her homemade biscotti for everyone. If anybody would like to buy some biscotti, it's to support Carla's Cookies. Oh, it's a fundraiser for the Family Cafe. Double bean, buy 2.
No, one for now, one for later, and they're great. Thank you all very much for attending. Don't go anywhere until Paula releases you, but I want to take the opportunity to thank Paula. I didn't get to sit in on this, but we have it taped, so I get the leisure of watching it at home. So, thank you, Paula. As you leave, you can hand in your evaluations, and we have a gift for you outside the doors. And
There also have, when you leave, stop off the front desk out here. You have your certificate. Yes, I have. Everyone who has attended today gets a certificate of attendance. It's really nice. So, come out to the registration desk, and Alex will make sure you pick up yours.
Ooh, we graduated.
So we would just like to close with a final few words. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Next.
Most of you know I'm the lead delegate for Family Cafe. The delegates have been kind of quiet lately, the last few years. We are going to be making a new list of delegates. So if you are wanting to become a delegate for the Family Cafe, see me. I will be at a table around the corner from the registration area. Also, I will be having a table down by the, when you go in for the keynotes, if you are interested. The delegates, what I'd like to do is do regionals. So we got regional delegates in different areas. And if there is a disability event going on in your area, what I'd like to do is ask the delegates to attend and maybe ask them to be able to have a table there for Family Cafe and educate other families about what Family Cafe can do for them. I've been to many events. I do 2 events every year in Sarasota. I did one in Tampa this year, and I did another one in Miami. And I was shocked to find out how many people with children with disabilities do not know about Family Cafe.
You can get in with some of the local groups, and you don't even need to have a delegate in the area. Just
Right.
that you get in with the groups who are doing those.
Right, but if we can get a delegate to man a table in that area and personally talk to parents as they're coming through, and also this is an election year. Another thing that we could do is if you're a member of CAN, and I'm hoping if you want to be a delegate, you become a member of CAN also, and you'll get a t-shirt. And when you go to a political event, and say the governor is going to be in your area, show up with your t-shirts. And if the governor is going to be there, there's going to be state representatives, there's going to be a lot of people there to talk to. And talk to them about Family Cafe. Talk to them about the needs of the people with disabilities. So I want, hopefully, the delegates to be more active in their communities, advocating not only for Family Cafe, but for families with disabilities. So if you get a chance, come see me and I'll talk a little more about it. Thank you.
All right. Judy? We would just like to close and thanking you, expressing our gratitude, our appreciation for your wonderful participation and attention, and to acknowledge each one of you for the courage, the heart, the awesome minds, and just holding each one of you in your total possibilities. And whatever it is that's on your paper, that's in your heart, that's not on your paper, but is in your heart, is possible for you. And it's possible that you manifest that. And bring that into your life. And change is possible. Yes. It's believing that it's true. And it's going home, that inward journey, often enough, that we receive the highest of messages that guide us. We connect with the highest of beings and our loved ones that are here and were here, that are there supporting our every breath and step. God bless.
you, Judy. It's always a pleasure. Thank you, Family Cafe. Thank you, Alex, for supporting us today. And we are going to play an awesome song as you hold hands with the person next to you. And we have the words for you as you leave.
I never left.
They go with a boy. Oh,